borrow, and return books. The system has different types of users, such as members, librarians, administrators. Members can register on the system, search for books, reserve books, and borrow them if available. Librarians handle the cataloging of new books, manage the borrowing process, and update the system when books are returned. Administrators can add or remove members and manage the overall settings of the system. The system also handles sending notifications to users when reserved books become available and when borrowed books are due for return. If a book is overdue, the system sends reminders and calculates any applicable fines. I identify the use cases and actors of the online library management system. I develop a possible use case diagram for the online library management system. Then I design a class diagram to model the main components of the online library management system, including relationships between classes.
We all understand the question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's begin solving the question. So, identify the use cases and the actors of the online library. So, the first actor in the online library, or the first person who plays a role in this online library, is the member. The second person is the member. The second person is the librarian. And then the next person would be the administrator of the whole system. The administrator. Yes.
1,000. But you're before 11 traffic.
Perfect. So now, what are the use cases that they can do? So these are the actors. What are the use cases that they can do? So if you are a member, then you can do the following. You can register on the system. You can research for books. You can reserve books. You can borrow books. You can return books, and you can receive notifications.
Okay.
Okay. The next thing in which you can do if you are a librarian is you can categorize books. You can manage the people who come for books. And then you can update the system with the returned information. If you are an administrator, then you can do the following. You can remove/add members, and then you can manage system settings. So these are the use cases that the individual can do. Remember, the use cases, they must be in the form of doing words. You can register, search, reserve, borrow, return, receive notifications. These are words in which action words are we okay? So identify the use cases and the actors of the online library system. Me doing that, I have 8 marks in the bag. Let's go to question 2. Develop a possible use case diagram for the online system. So I need to develop a use case diagram. So I need to go for draw IO. In my draw IO, I have this. In here, I have an actor here, and I'll bring this actor over here. Over here, let me make this big enough. And then let me bring the actor a bit more here. Bring this to the middle a bit. Over here, I'll bring this person here a bit. And then this person, I'll make him a bit bigger. He's too big. Yeah, this is okay. And then I'll bring him here. Now, this actor here is going to serve as my librarian. This actor here is going to serve as my administrator. And then this actor over here is going to serve as my, what word did I use for that? Member.
It's member.
My member. Now, this here is going to serve as my library management system. So now I need to draw my use cases. The use cases, the shape of it is oval. I don't know the diagram some of you did. I don't know if you don't know what the shape oval is, but this is oval. And then here I'll put in the things in which they will do. For example, the administrator is going to add and remove members. So here I'll just put in add and remove members. Also, he is going to manage the system settings. So there I have the job of the administrator. Also, the job of the administrator, not the librarian. So if you come down, the administrator is here. So all I'll do is draw a line from here to here. And then a line from here to here. Ideally, the lines are not supposed to touch each other, so I can make them leave each other. Perfect. Just make sure they are coming from the body of the person. Perfect. Then I'll do for librarian. So technically, you doing question one and listing them, me, you doing the diagram is just picking the things in which you listed out in question one. So here, the librarian is going to be able to categorize books, is going to be able to manage the borrow, update the manage the borrowing process. Let me copy this. I'll just bring it here. Over here, I'll have manage the borrowing process. Oh, okay. So here, I'll just be marrying I'll not, it's too long, so I'll just say managers borrowing. Short. Over here, I need another arrow from here, going out here. Of course, I need to separate it, so separated. Need to make sure the arrow is touching it. See? Here, and I'll say update system. Here, I'll go for another use case. And then in here, I'll say update return.
System. Okay.
So, straight to the point. System returns, update return, same thing. So I'll just have here, here. I'll make sure this are separated. This will come a bit. And then why let me bring it here. This two, let me make sure actions are nice jointed here. None of these process here. Make sure these things here are. Then I can now do for
Member.
the member, whereby we said the member is going to be able to register. The member is able to register. If you're a member, you should be able to search
for books.
book. Okay. You're a member, you should be able to
Reserve books.
You're a member, you should be able to return.
Borrow books.
You're a member, you should be able to borrow. Borrow. And then if you're a member,
Receive notification.
you're supposed to be able to receive it. If you're a member, you should be able to also view the categorized books. Let's bring this down a bit. I'll just bring this individual two down. Or better, so let me do it this way. Bring you down. Then I'll highlight everything. I'll bring everything down. So that's one. I will let me look at this. Great. Voila. That's over here. You have reserve books too. So you can reserve a book. You can, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Now, to be honest, I don't keep receive notification. And then here, let me add. So here, we can view reserved books. Okay. Wonderful. So now we need that over here, all these arrows go to from here to here. By the way, I hope you see how fast I'm doing this thing. And you people take 1 week, and then when the submission time, say I'm coming, say to be here right now, but it's never here right now. Okay, so now the question is, the administrator to receive notification like that, you need to receive it. The librarian to also be receive it. That's not going to happen. And then librarians will be able to know which books have been reserved and also see that. Over here, I have my use case draw. Of course, I can make the oval of it wider or longer, make the shape more, that it is more filled in terms of this.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not hearing. I wasn't hearing you actually. I don't know whether I'm the only person.
Oh, okay. I wasn't saying it. Let's say that this is the use case diagram for the system. So I'm done with question. The second part of the question, which says I should draw a use case diagram that describes the system. Now I am here. Design a class diagram to model the components of the library management system. Include the relationship between the classes. That's fine. So now I have to draw a class diagram. So I need the shape. I want to draw a class. Over here.
So before you draw the class, sir, I want to find out, does the activity follows a particular sequence?
The activity, what activity?
Yeah, I'm talking of the for the members, for instance.
Are you talking about how they are arranged here?
Exactly. So you register.
Oh no, they don't follow. They don't follow any sequence. It's not like you register them. From registering, you come and do this. Use case diagram means that this member here can do this. He can do that. He can do this. He can do that. He can do this. He can do that. Do you understand?
Okay, that's
there are cases whereby if you say I can do this, before I can do, let's say, registration, I will have to do something else before I can register. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So
yes,
in that case, it means that you would have another over here in which the registration will lead to. So it means that you as the member, You want to do, let's say, before you can register, you need to get a token. Then after you get a
Okay.
token, you can register. So technically, if you don't get a token, you can't what? Register.
You can't register.
So in that case, the member will do registration, but before he can do registration, he has to get a what? Token.
A token.
Do you understand? So in
Yes, sir.
cases whereby you can't get direct access to the use case, to the activity, to what you want to do, then it has to be included to another thing. That's when the include comes in. But technically, the use case diagram, if you are a coder, that is what you are coding. So it is like you are telling the person, in my system, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. So then I will take it and say, okay, to do searching, I must design it like this. This is how the form should be like. This is how the database should be like. This is how I'll retrieve information from the database. All of those things go into this activity. But this activity is grouped into what? One. That is why whenever you use the word over here, it has to be direct and it has to not be ambiguous. Because if it is ambiguous, you cannot express what you want to do very well. Because if I am coding and I get here and you say, let's say here, you say search for books in the system of the person, you write some long piece of text here. That won't help me as a developer. Because here, when I come and I say search for books, I know that, okay, in the system, we have a table called books. You look through that table and find what you want, period. If you are someone who is contracting someone to develop the system for someone, you say that, oh, on my online platform, you can come here, type the book you want, it will pop up, then you get the book. Perfect. So here we are stating the use cases. It is not in any order. It is not first come, first serve. You are just stating what this member here can do in your system.
Say please, your voice is fluctuating. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it's low.
Oh, sorry. What I'm saying is that is why over here, this square bracket is very important. So when you draw the use case diagram without this square bracket here, there is a problem because you are saying that in this member here, when it comes to this system, this is what he can do. So if this square bracket is not there, then you are saying that the person is not doing it in any system. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So here, this square bracket here denotes the system environment in which you are doing your activities in. So everything here is in the system. So in the system, I can borrow books. In the system, I can reserve this. In the system, I can return a book. So it means that when you open your system, there should be a tab that you click on that has all the sequence of activities that you will do to return a book. Don't get it twisted. Over here, when I say receive notification, there are certain things which will happen. There are certain activities that go into receiving a notification. But at the end of the day, I don't care about the sequences of activities because that's not my job. That is for someone else to figure out. My job is to tell you that, okay, in the system, you'll be able to receive notifications. Now, when the system is done and we click a button and we receive a notification, I have been satisfied. The list of things which go on for the notification to be received, at this point in time, that is not my job. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So,
please, if I may ask, so that means like in the actual development of a system, everything we've listed there in the use cases will have its equivalent sequence diagram.
Everything there will have its equivalent sequence diagram. Yes.
Okay.
So the sequence diagram will show from here, the information will go here, then it will come here, then you get this feedback, or you not get any feedback, or you just go into the system and go and do that. So that once you give him the sequence diagram, then you can know specifically in, let's say, category bookings, this is what you want me to do.
Yes, sir. It's clear, sir.
So now let's see the class diagram. Over here I have the fields, right? So over here, I'm going to call you the member. And then over here, I'm going to call you the administrator. The member. What information do we take for you to become a member? We will take your member ID, in which your member ID would be an integer. We will take your name, in which your name is going to be a string. We will take your email, in which your email is going to be a string. We will take your phone number, in which your phone number is also going to be a string. Remember, phone numbers are not numbers, they are strings. If you go and if you a database administrator or you're a front-end developer, you go and make it a number, all the people who type 04, 024, and all of those things, that zero in front will disappear. Because remember, there is no number in this world that starts with a zero. So because of the zero, they are all what? Strings. Over here,
Okay.
we have a register, a registered date. And then a registered
Yes,
date
string.
is going to
String.
be a date.
Yes.
There is
Okay.
a data type called date, so it's going to be a date. And
Okay.
then the borrowed book is more like a status symbol. So over here, the borrowed book is going to be an integer. And so that if it is one, then you are saying the book is in the shelf, two, it has been borrowed, three, it has been reserved, things like that. And over here, what would the method do? So here, you would search for book. He can search for a book. And then at the end of the day, it should return something which is of type string. Because when you search for a book, you should get the book name you have searched for. So return string. Over here, the person should be able to reserve a book. And then reserving a book, it should give us a data type of Boolean. That is, were you able to reserve the book? Yes and no. Yes and no in programming is called Boolean numbers. So over here, true or false. So we use Boolean to represent the fact that we're able to return the book. Over here, to have made a mistake, since they are functions, it means that here I need to bring the parentheses at the end of them. Over here, I'm going for borrowed book. Borrowed book. And our borrowed book is going to have a data type of Boolean so that we know were you able to borrow yes or what. Then finally here we have return book. And then if we're able to return a book, we will just say Boolean. Yeah, so here we have that. I don't need this one here. So this is what makes you a member. Okay. Now, over here, we'll have to look at the librarian. So the librarian will also have, let me copy the things here. The librarian will have an ID. Can I copy? Laziness is not good. So here, let me paste. Oh, okay, no problem. Let me break it. Let me remove this. I don't think I can do that. It's okay, I have to type it. I don't want to type it too. Laziness is not good. Laziness is not good at. Okay, so here I'll just change this one to librarian. ID. Okay. Then from there, can you hear me now? Is my voice okay? I don't know what is going on.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
please.
Okay. Now, over here, it is going to be a string. So we need the name of the librarian. We also need the email of the librarian. And then we also need the phone number of the librarian. Apart from that, I don't think we need anything else. So these two things here can go away. Perfect. The librarian should be able to update the status of the book. So here we have update status, and then it will return an integer. That is the status. If it is return, not return, so on and so forth. And over here, the librarian should be able to get any details from any book in which he or she wants. So here, get details. And then here we'll say the data type for this should be integer. No, it should be a string so that we return the information. We don't need this, we don't need this, and we don't need that. So we are done with the librarian. Oh no, I made a mistake. Librarian, so librarian can update the status of the book. He can get details of the book he wants. He can issue a book. He can issue a book. The issue a book will have no data type. It's going to be void. He can update returns. Okay. Now, the administrator. The same thing basically for this person is what we need for the administrator. So we would need the administrators. So need the administrator. We need the administrator's ID. So here, instead of librarian ID, remove this and then just do admin ID. We will need his name, email address, and then phone number. The administrator can add a member. The administrator can remove a member. The administrator can manage settings. We don't need this one. Now, we would need a class.
I didn't send notifications.
And send the notifications that the administrator who sends it. It's
I think
based
the
on
question
what,
said the system should be able to send notification.
so it's not the administrator who sends it, it's the system who will send it. For example, if you say the administrator sends notifications, let's take an example of Momo, since we all do Momo. If that is what you are saying, it means that whenever you type my number, type the amount, and type the type of activity you are doing, I forgot the word. And then you send the money. There is someone at MTN waiting behind the computer. So you say that, oh, you have sent money. Let me send you and say that, oh, your balance is this and this. That is not how.
So it will be wrong to say that then.
Yes, so it would be wrong to say that. Do you understand?
So say please, in a case like that, how do you capture that in the use case diagram, please? Where the system will send the notification. So will you have an actor
in the
like
use
system?
case diagram like this?
Yes. How would you capture the system sending a notification, please?
In the use case diagram or in the class diagram? Because I haven't finished the class diagram.
Yes, please. I'm asking about the use case diagram. Like, is there a way to capture that if the system is the one that will be sending like the notification? Does it mean you have another actor called system and then we'll link it to notification to send notification?
You can do that.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
So over here, I'm going to add two more things. The first thing I'm going to add is a class called book. And over here, I'll have the book's ID. And then in here, I will have the books. We can't call it name because books don't have name. They have what? Title. Then here, books don't have email, but they have an author. And then books don't have a phone number, but they also have a number called the ISBN number. Right? And then books have some other things too. What do they have? Oh, no, sorry. The books have a status. Now, the status is if they have been borrowed or not borrowed, or, they have been reserved or not been reserved. So they have a status in which applies to them. So here, status. In a status, we can use integers to demarcate the status so that if you are one, then you are not borrowed. Two, then you are borrowed. Three, then you are that. You are available, so on and so forth. Then here we can have the update status of the book, and we can get details of the book. Then these two things here don't exist here too. Of course, we have a final thing here in which we are going to call notification. Now, under notification, we are going to have a notification ID. And then, which is going to be of type integer. And then here, we don't have a notification title, but we have a notification type. That is it due? Is it available? Is it overdue? So on and so forth. We can have a notification type. Then over here, we'll have a recipient ID. So who are we sending the notification to? Okay, the recipient ID is going to be integer because all of our primary keys, the librarian ID, member ID, distant ID, they are all integer. So if you are either sending a notification to the librarian or the member or the administrator, the recipient ID should be the same ID as the ID given to the member. So it is going to be an integer. And then the context of the message. What message are we sending? The message you are giving to the person. And then, of course, the date of the message. What date did you send the message to the person? So the send date. And the send date is also going to be of data type date. And what can it do? It can send notification. Now, if I have to be very critical of this, everything here is wrong because here, the symbol over here should not be plus, it should be minus. So all of um, the, the, the variables at the top here should be minus because they will be private. But all of the methods over here would be public, hence they can be what? Plus. If I was being very critical. So it means all the data types are minuses, and then the pluses are the variables that can be interacted with in the outside world. Okay, so what are the relationships? Member here can
Please, a quick question on that, please. So, simply when we make it private, does it mean like, for instance, on the interface, it will not show, or where exactly will it come into play, please? The private and the public.
When you make a particular,
please, your voice is low, please.
When you make a particular variable private, so let's say if members here, I make it private, it means that this class here cannot have direct access to this.
Okay.
So another class cannot have direct access to the location member ID.
Okay.
Now, the fact that it cannot have the key word in what I said is direct access.
Direct access.
That means that it can use the public method here to gain access to this one, and that is allowed.
Okay.
For example, the easiest and quickest example I can give you is, let's say you were in your house and someone came to you and told you that they need a loan of 200 cedis.
Yes.
And they walked straight into your bedroom, opened your drawer, and took the 200 cedis and walked out. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay? Like that whole action?
No, it's not. Okay. It's not okay. Not okay.
So why would that be okay for a class just to be there and you just come and take the information in which you want and go out? So the method is serving as you or your security man or your gate or your children or your dog or whatever, in which the person has to talk to. Due diligence can be done, checks can be made, information can be checked before they can be given access to it.
Yes.
That is why if you do these places plus, you as the designer, you don't know what you are doing.
Yes. So in other words, we are confining all those attributes only for that class, and they can't
only
be
for
accessed
that
by
class.
another class.
Yes, and the word for that is encapsulation.
Yes, sir.
In which we have
done. Thank you, sir.
So over here, when I go and then I can pick all of this, and then come here, and here I can say that members interact with book for borrowing and reservation. So can reserve or borrow slash reserve book. Let me bring this one here. So this is the relationship between the member and then the books. Okay. Now, what is the relationship between the librarian, and then the books? The librarian, okay, I can even, because it's down here, I can even put it right on top of it. Let me do it again. So I can click here, go and pick the arrow and bring it direct here. And then the librarian can categorize can catalog, or let me use catalog as the word, /update returns. Okay. And then over here, the administrator has a relationship. And remember, the arrow shows where the relationship is coming from. So this one is the administrator who has the relationship of the member. The member does not have any relationship with the administrator. So the member has a relationship with the administrator because he manages accounts. And then the notification will be sent to the member let me pick the arrow from here. Click here. Wonderful. Better still, this is okay. And then here, let me just put the text here. It sends alerts. So here I've done all the relationships between the various classes in my system. It is very important to note that if the moment I copy this and then I come to the side, so I'm here somewhere, and then I paste it. So let me just move it to the side. And then I remove all of this. I remove this too. I remove this. I remove this. And I remove this. Right now, this thing here is no more a class diagram. It is an entity relational diagram. So it is this diagram that I will give my database administrator to build. And it is this diagram that I would give my backend developer to also build the system that will connect to the database.
Yes, sir.
So when the developer comes and I open the database and I say, why are you storing the number? And there's no number there. Right there, I can say I'll pay, and he will slap me, but at least I'll have a case in court. Now, the question doesn't add the sequence diagram, but we can add the sequence diagram. So let's do the sequence diagram.
Sir, please, one question. So, sir, in case like a question asks us to draw the entity relationship or the entity relationship diagram, that means we'll still do the classes, but without their methods.
Without their methods, yes.
Okay.
But I will not ask you to draw the entity relational. That one is for the teacher who will teach you database. So before someone will come and take my head off, whatever teacher will teach you database, that is his trouble. Luckily for me, I'm not part of the people going to teach you database. So I'm happy. I'm free. But whoever will teach you database, worry about that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But technically, the attributes are what you would create with the data. So it means technically you have the book table, the librarian table, the member table, and then you have the administrator table and the notification table. But if you come to this direction here, then you have the class librarian, the class member, the class administrator, the class notification, and then the class book. So it depends on which of the lines you are sitting on. Are you the database admin or you are the systems administrator? The one you are sitting on will determine which diagram here makes more meaning to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible for a table to have more than one relationship?
Oh, of course.
Like the administrator having the administrator has a relationship with members. Is it possible for administrator to also have a relationship with?
The librarian.
Librarian, yes.
Yes, the administrator has a relationship with the librarian. But to be honest with you, um, in this scenario, I don't care. Let me be very honest. I don't care about the relationship with the librarian. What I care more is that he manages the members. But obviously, it is the administrator who manages the librarian. So if you want to showcase, then you would also put here that he manages the account of the what? The librarian. So for example, if you start a job fresh, who will create your account for you? It's the administrator. Who will make sure you are changing your passwords every 2 months or 3 months. All of those things, it is the administrator who will make sure you are doing all of this. So you can do the relationship there like this. It's fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now let's look at the sequence diagram. By the way, again, you see how fast I'm doing my diagrams and things. And you people, it took me like 2 weeks or something. What is going on? But I will say it.
Say you are experienced though.
What experience? This is the first time I've also seen the question myself.
Sir, please, I have a question.
Yes, what is your question?
Please, with respect to the conversion of the class diagram to the ERD, and then passing this from passing this to the database administrator, to be specific. Is there supposed to be some expected back and forth between the database administrator and the author of the class diagram or the ERD to settle on the actual relationship? Or he just has to do his work and then updates the one who authored the diagram on what has been changed?
The question you just asked is a marvelous question.
So please, I can't hear you.
Okay. I said, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You
I
can hear me now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The question you just asked is it's a marvelous question. And it is a question in which I don't have a concrete answer for you. What I'll tell you is this. If you are a proper organization, there is someone who would be your system analyst. It is his job to sit down and then come up with all of these diagrams, which means in doing the diagrams, for example, in doing this, you would realize, okay, I need another class. I need this, I need that. This one won't work. Over here, can't do this. He will do all of those things. When he's done doing all of those things, then he will design the diagrams, all the parties who are involved in building the system, not just the system, not just the program, not just the database analyst, but also the stakeholders, the customer, the people who will use it. All of them would have to give their comments on the various diagrams. Then the diagrams will be distributed for development to take place. A lot of the time in our side of the world, these things are not done. They are not done because, honestly, you want the money. There is no hiding from that. I want the money. So the moment you come to you and me and tell me, oh, you want a system, I tell you, oh, what system? You mentioned the system. I'm so happy that you have mentioned the system for me. I just take the money and I run with it. That's all. There is no there is no overthinking it, or there is nothing like that. I have to be very, very honest with you. So the whole back and forth issue then comes in, whereby the database administrator will do his job, but it doesn't marry with the expectations of the organization. If we come to this diagram, for example, over here in our use cases, over here, we said, oh yeah, the received educations. We said the view registered books. Okay, so review reserved books. So the member should be able to view reserved books. That's fine. That means that over here in our system here, where we have books, we should be able to know if a book has been reserved or not. Over here, we have the status of the book. The status of the book will determine if the book is reserved or not. So if the book is 1, it means it's reserved. If it is not 1, it is free. Someone can come for it. Now, if the database administrator here also understands the status of the book as this, that has the book been deleted or it is active? I can say the status of the book means that the book is reserved, it is not reserved, it is being borrowed. So that is the status of the book. But to me, the database administrator, I am understanding the status to be, have I deleted it or I have not deleted it? Now, contrary to popular opinion, when you say something should be deleted, it is not deleted. It is never deleted. We only mark it as inactive, so you never get access to it. So it means technically in the database over here, I would have another field over here, changing the status here to active or inactive, so that when you go and click the delete button for the book, this status here can change to 1 or 2 for active or inactive. But if the database administrator makes a mistake and then assumes that, oh, the status here is just you saying, has it been deleted or not? Right there, your entire system fails. So there is back and forth. But technically, there should not be back and forth if the architect does his job well. So the system analyst is there as the architect. He sees everything. You as the foreman, you as the mason, you as the whoever, the electrician, the carpenter, who's at the field building the house, your job is to come, this is the plan, do your job and go away. Now, if your plan doesn't make sense, did my job tell you, hey, your plan doesn't make sense? Yes. But you can imagine if you're on a website and there is an architect and you come and tell the architect, hey, architect, this design you have done, it doesn't make sense. So what do you think the architect will do? And these are some of the problems that come in. So I don't have a straight answer for you. I just have the things in which I've seen in my experience, whereby in organizations, they focus so much on, hey, here's the money, go and build the software for me. But they do not do their due diligence to know what they really want and how what they want will translate. So you realize the software tends to take a long time to be developed, and a lot of people have to go back and forth, and they'll develop and it's not what they want, or it doesn't meet the way in which the organization works. And the whole job of this course, the whole job of these diagrams is to make sure all of those things are done here. So once I give it to you, you can just develop and go away. I hope I've answered your question for you.
Yes, please. Just to put it in context, in actual fact, if the ERD which has been generated here, if it's given to somebody to work on the database part of this project. In fact, it satisfies our need for, looking at the classes. But then the relationships in there, some extra columns need to be put in there. And as I asked, then it's more of a big problem for the database designer or the architect.
Of course, because to be honest with you, this status over here, if I was doing a database, I will not bring it here. I'll create a junction table. So I'll technically create another table here, which deals with all returns and everything. So here I'll just have the ID, the person, and the status and everything here. Then this status does not come here. So that here I'll have the active only. So over there too, there are some things in which you have to take into consideration. For example, you have a junction table for the member in the book and the status alone, because you have to do normalization in the database. But again, I'm not the one teaching you database. So I don't want to go there.
Thank you very much. My question is answered, so maybe that's okay.
I don't want to go there. That's another teacher's job. Let me do my job.
We will tell him you gave him job to do.
Go and kill him there. That one is not my content. So right now, let's move to the class diagram, the sequence diagram. Okay, so in the sequence diagram, how do we even begin that? Yes. We need a square. And then we need another square for the system. So here you have a square for member. And then we have a square for the system. Over here, we have a long line. My line is crooked. And then here too, I have a long line. Showing the sequence of events. Okay. And then I can start my arrow connections. The member will come. The member comes, he will come and then, oh, sorry. The arrow. Okay. The member will come and then search. Now, if the book is found, yeah. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, please.
Okay. Hello, sir. Yeah.
Yes. So with the sequence diagram for this, can we start with the maybe the member should log in first, then maybe from there you can then search the book and then do other activities, or we should just leave the login and then jump straight to the search book.
You see, the sequence, one thing in which I don't think I told you is that you can't do a sequence diagram for the entire system at the beginning.
Okay.
So you are doing it for various processes. So you are doing a sequence diagram here at the top here. The writing or the caption you put over here is a sequence diagram to borrow a book. To borrow a book. Borrow book. Sequence. So everything you are doing here is only for you to borrow a book. Then you go for another sequence diagram to reserve a book. You can go for another sequence diagram to return a book. You can go for another sequence diagram to log the person in and check credentials. So you have various sequence diagrams. It's not one sequence diagram for the entire system.
Okay, sir.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So the system itself will go and check if the book is available. So, check. Yes. Yes, I
So
can
how
hear
do you
you.
know which sequence diagram you are supposed to? How do we know which sequence diagram you are supposed to?
Okay, so if I don't tell you which sequence diagram to draw, the question states clearly that draw a sequence diagram to do so, so, and so, and so. So whatever the system tells you to do, then you draw a sequence diagram for that. Or you can demarcate a particular portion of the system you want to draw a sequence diagram for and state it at the top that this is the sequence diagram to do so, so, and so, and so. And then you draw it for it. Is that okay?
Yes.
So when the system is done checking for the availability of the item, it will reply to our dear friend, the member, that it has done what? Status of book. Now, if the member sees the status of the book and he wants to go further to get the book, then the system is going to record the reservation. And then when it's done recording the reservation, it will just confirm it back the number. And then the system will then also notify the member when the book is available. This is too big. Let me make it a bit smaller. This is too big. Let me make it a bit smaller. And one lady and gentlemen, we have our sequence diagram. When I'm done, I can draw another sequence diagram if I want to for the next activity I want to display.
Sir, I'll bet here.
Yeah.
Okay, so sir, what if you added a database to the sequence? So you don't bring it, doesn't make it right as well.
So you don't do what?
When you bring a database to the behind the system. Yeah.
So you do this.
Yes.
It's fine. If that's what you want, that's fine by you. That's your design. But remember that this is what you are saying the system will do. So if what you are saying the system will do doesn't make sense, that's where the red flag is. But if your system, no one is checking, is talking about it. So technically here, this arrow here has to go here. And then over here, there would be a confirmation to the system. Then you tell the person the status. So it could be something like, so you search for the book, go and search for the book in the database, then you get the status of the book, then you tell the person the status of the book. You want to reserve, go and then make the reservation in the database, so on and so forth.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Remember that you will be judged based on what you are saying the system will do. So if what you said the system will do doesn't make sense, that is when the judging comes in.
Yes, sir.
Because remember, if you are saying the system will do A, B, C, D, and then the A, B, C, D doesn't match the criteria of the organization you are building for, then what is the point of what you are doing? Are you?
Yes,
so
sir.
I have, as you can see, I have drawn all the diagrams. I drew it. I didn't say or Albert, come and help. Or I didn't say anything. Dominic, did I ask you to come and help? No. Nicholas, did I call you? No.
Sir, you are the chairman. You are the chairman.
Because you are already yourself.
When the chairman,
you are available to help if you are called.
Chairman,
you are available to help.
Hey, I'm available to help. Hey. Oh no. Okay, no problem. I am sending you some questions in your class group. Your exams will take the tone on that. The exam is broken down into 3 sections. I hope you know that.
You mentioned it
No,
last time.
sir.
Okay, the school, oh yeah, you guys are new. So the school, the examinations the school run, they break them into 3 sections. So everything would be over 60 marks. So everything is over 60. So your exam would have a section A, a section B, and a section C component. Okay. The section A part alone is worth 20 marks, and you are answering only 4 questions there. That means each question carries 5 marks. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Can I go on?
Yes, sir.
The section B part, of your exam contains it's also worth 20 marks, but over there you are answering any 2 questions. 1 question is worth 10 marks. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
And then your section C part is worth 20 marks, and over there you are answering only 1 question, which means that question is worth 20 marks.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so the question section A part is just what is this, what is that, explain that, briefly write this, that kind of questions are what you would be facing over there.
Okay, sir.
The section B part, there we'll look at questions which says describe this or draw that. No, not a very detailed drawing, but a quick diagram you would draw, that kind of thing. And then the case study part is the questions in which I've been giving you. I'll pick one of them, and then there are actually 2 questions there, so you choose one. So one of the questions we have been doing will come there, then you just choose that and do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm sending you a group of questions from each of the areas. There's the section C part. To be honest with you, the question that will come there, you would have seen it before. I have to be honest. So if you have done most of the questions I've been giving you to go and try your hands on, go and do this, the questions I put in your group, the long essay questions, you'll be fine. Those are the case studies which will come there, so you will be fine. In terms of the first 2 sections, there are a bit technical questions. For example, let me share my screen and let's see if anyone here can answer a few before I send them to you. So the first question, explain the concept of, hello? Explain the concept of encapsulation in object-oriented programming language and how does it promote software reliability? Who can tell me this?
So encapsulation is basically the process of bundling attributes and methods to a particular class in order to have the class organized, in order to have the code organized and have designated methods and attributes under that class remain in that class and not all over the program. So it promotes software reliability in the sense that when there are updates to be done and when there are bugs to be fixed, at least you know which class into which you should go and get those corrections and updates.
Your first half is not technically correct. It's not technical, but the explanation is correct. The second half of what you said is not true. Encapsulation is the process of hiding the sensitive materials of a class from other classes.
Yes, sir.
It is reliable. It promotes software reliability because it prevents other people from manipulating the classes. Hence, the data that you have can be relied on, or there is data integrity. If I have hidden my innermost thoughts from you, if I've hidden my innermost information from you, and the only way you can get access to it is when I want you to get access to it, it means that that information can be relied upon.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So
Sir, please, instead of hiding, can you say restricting?
We can say restricting.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So to be honest with you, I will not be so concrete on using specific words. Do you understand? But let's remember the characteristics of Java: inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism.
Nicholas, there's some noise in your background.
Encapsulation, polymorphism, all of those principles, they are very technical terms. So in explaining them, you have to be a bit technical. So something like this. So something like this would be in the section A. Okay. So another example of a question that would be in a section A would be something like this. Discuss the benefits of or challenges of so and so and so when prepared, something like that. So yeah. And then for the section B part, you would have questions like this. Draw a use case diagram for an online shopping system. Your use case diagram should include at least 2 actors and 5 use cases. So you just quickly draw a use case for something like this. So I don't think they are difficult. I have to be honest with you. I think they are technical. And I think every question that will come, you would have seen a form of it or a way of it before. Because normally when I'm teaching, I always give you questions to try, which would be similar to what you get in the exam, so that you don't have to learn so much before the exam, but you can rely on past knowledge when you get to the exam. So you should be fine from that point of view, to be honest. But students are students, so you let me put that with students there. Whatever happens in life, a student is a student. Or show to saw a killer. Or show to saw a killer. I don't even know, but it is what it is. So I would send you that so that you, at your own convenience, you can watch it. Next week is also revision week, so it means we don't have to come to class. But if you have any question you want to ask me, as always, you can message me or you can call me. It is perfectly fine. We can discuss it. Or if you want us to have a meeting for us to discuss some things in which you have learned and you don't understand or want clarification on, that's also fine. You can let me know, and then we can have the big class and then discuss it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, one more thing.
Yeah.
When you put out a question if you have a question and you say discuss, how exactly do you want us to put it? How detailed? How lengthy?
Oh, You see, if the question is 10 marks,
Yes, sir.
that means a page or more than half a page will make sense.
More than half a page.
Will make sense.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm trying?
Yes, sir.
If the marks is 10 marks, you can't write 2 lines and expect me to give you 10 marks. That one, dear.
Yeah.
So if it is, like half a page or more than half a page, it makes sense for the 10 marks. That's all I'm trying to say. If it is the 5 marks, that one is like a paragraph, like 4 lines, 5 lines, just explain and go your way. Fine. But if it is discuss and it is 10 marks, then discuss and get the marks, which is 10 marks.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Anyway, if there
Hello,
are no,
sir.
yeah.
So I want to know, I have 2 questions on polymorphism and then encapsulation. So
Okay.
here's a case where I create a class.
Mhm.
Here's a case where I create a class.
Mhm.
I put my attributes and my methods in that class. And then I have not implemented anything to hide any of those methods or make it private or protected. Is that still encapsulation?
No, encapsulation is it's how will I call it? It's a concept. Okay.
Okay.
So you can do your class without implementing encapsulation. But the moment you do that, there are certain things you should realize are not happening. Like you are not providing security. So your app is not secure.
Okay.
Your application will not have integrity. You cannot then implement scalability. So there are lots of things in which you cannot do the moment you don't implement the encapsulation. And to be honest with you, it's not a matter of you doing encapsulation. It's a matter of you doing all the 5 principles. You are doing encapsulation. And if you do encapsulation, you would have to do abstraction because it is abstraction that will hide the innermost computations or the innermost processes of your class from another class. And if you do abstraction, you will do inheritance because you don't want to code a lot. You want to give most of your methods and attributes to children classes of a particular parent. So if you have an employee and then the employee, they are grouped into types, you don't want to go and create employee name, employee. For example, in the thing in which we did librarian, we did administrator. For the librarian, we had to go for librarian ID, librarian name, librarian email. For the administrator, we had to go for administrator ID, so on and so forth. Why don't we join the 2 together and then we create another class that says the category of employee so that over there we will take all our information because the librarian is an employee and the administrator is an employee. So the moment you start coding and going further and then you start writing applications and building applications, you realize that the more you implement the concepts of object-oriented programming, the encapsulation, the inheritance, the polymorphism, the more your coding skills becomes faster and the less you code on your screen. You realize you just write 2-3 lines and everything is being done for you. It is better, it is faster, it is easier, it is more enjoyable. In the beginning, it is not. I will not lie to you here, it is not. But once you understand the principles, you realize you watch someone's code and someone use 100 lines to do something and you are using just 2 lines and it is executing at a high rate. So, yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, the polymorphism. Can we say that, because I want to really understand that side, can we say that using different version of the same code based on the input that we are giving to that code?
Don't use the word code. Polymorphism works on a particular method.
Okay.
So it is using the same method, but having different parameters. You must be specific.
So when you say parameters, is the parameters based on the input we are giving to the method?
The input you are giving to the method, because it's the parameters that are the inputs. So don't use the word input, use the word parameters, because it's the parameters that you are changing. And don't use the word a particular code, use the word method. Because it is the method specifically that you are changing. So if you say code, then it means you are changing the variable. The variable, there's no polymorphism working on the variable. So I'll mark you wrong because you said code, so everything applies. But it's not the whole code. You are creating many different forms of. You are creating many different forms of the method.
Method, okay. Okay.
Do you understand? So be specific. That's why I told you that over there are some technical, you can elaborate. I'm not one of those teachers that will say, you must give me detail of what is in the notes. No, that's not it. And my main concern is for you to learn the thing and not you. But there are some words in which you speak, or there's a way in which you speak, in which someone will know that you're an IT person or not, and you should speak like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
so
please.
on polymorphism, say I have two classes, and then each of those classes are having a method with the same name. Is that polymorphism? The fact that I have one method in a different class and that same method in a different class performing a different function, is that polymorphism?
No, because they don't apply. You are saying there's one class on its own. That class is an entire environment on its own, and the other class is an entire environment on its own, so they don't apply. Now, if what you are saying is, I have a class, he is a parent of another class, that right there, it is a different thing altogether, because it means that that class who is a child of another parent class, he is taking all the information from the parent. So if I'm taking all the information from the parent, I can't have another class, I can't have another method of the same name there. Technically, you can't have a method with the same name and the same parameters in the same class. It's not possible. So if the names are the same, then the only things which can change are the parameters. Or the names will be the same. Then I'll tell you that, okay, the name that I have in the child is what I want to use. So forget about the name that is in the parent. Now, if I use the forget about route, then I am doing method overriding. If I do the route of changing the parameter, then I'm doing method overloading. But at the end of the day, the question is, I can't have one class on its own and another class on its own, and I have the same method. There's no, they don't have any relationship with each other. They are not linked. They are not doing inheritance. Nothing is going on over there. So it doesn't apply. There is no application over there. Now, the moment you say one class is a child of the other, then we have a different ball game altogether.
So it means that polymorphism is implementing different versions of a method based on the parameters we have, right?
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So let me drop this thing in your group before someone will come and message me that, sir, you said you dropped something. Where is it? Where is it? Let me, you don't come and worry me. Remember
Sir,
the case study part we have done most of them, the ones in which will come in your exam. So just go over them and you'll be fine. Yeah, what's your question, please?
yes. So when you come to the class diagram, the public and private thing is what represents the encapsulation.
Perfect. It's what represents the encapsulation.
Okay.
Sir, please, one of our members is asking if you can go over the polymorphism one more time. Just briefly.
Where to go over Benewum? Okay, no problem. You are go right. By the way, I've sent you the questions in your group, eh?
Thank you, sir. But sir, please, before you start with the polymorphism, I want to find out if we would be taught a particular programming language.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
You'll be doing you'll be doing web application development. So over there, you may do HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then Node or PHP, depending on the teacher who teach.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Please, can you repeat the definition of polymorphism you gave right now? No, the definition, the colleague, no, just the definition. Oh, okay, you just want the definition. So I shouldn't go and elaborate on everything encapsulation. Oh, that one there I can do. Okay, no problem. Or let me project it so that I can write the definition of encapsulation. So 1 second, I'm going to project again, okay? So that I can leave it on the screen for you. Okay. So if you want to go technical, then we can say it refers to the bundling of data, that is attributes, and methods, that is functions, that operate on data into a single unit, typically a class. It also involves restricting access to some of the object's components to protect the integrity of the data and hide implementation details. So this is how the reliability part of the question comes in. So this portion here is what we talk about when we are talking about the reliability. This is the action. Because it does this, means your data is reliable and you can trust. Is that okay? And then just so that we are clear, polymorphism can be defined as this. So polymorphism is another key concept in object-oriented programming, and it means many forms. It allows objects to be treated as instances of their parent class than their actual class. This can be achieved through overriding and overloading. And again, overriding means that the parent has the information. You want to use a different information than your parent. So you are overriding your parent's information so that you can use your information. Overloading means that the same class, we have the same method with the same name, but our parameters are different. Key point, same name, parameters are different. First one class has the method, the child has the same method. So you're telling the parent, forget about your own, use me, the child's own. That is this one.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, please, from looking at the first definition for encapsulation. So it means that the definition for encapsulation is not complete without a definition for abstraction.
That is why you see that at some point in time, when I was talking about the encapsulation, I said that it is not about you just doing encapsulation. You must do all of the method, all of the characteristics to achieve your aims. Technically, if you are doing encapsulation, you must do abstraction in order to implement the concept of hiding of your implementation details. Because abstraction is me hiding my implementation details from you. But in me doing encapsulation, because you can't get access directly to my data, you must do abstraction to get the access to the data. So they are very different concepts. But if you do one, another one also applies. For example, if you do inheritance, then you must do polymorphism, because even with us in this class here, it is, if you are being very, very honest with yourself, we all grow up telling ourselves that we don't want to be our parents. But in actuality, we are both of our parents. You would see that the anger your father has, you have it, but maybe you show it in a quicker way than your father. Your father is very, very angry. You to take time, but with the moment you get angry, you just go off. Or your mother has a certain trait, you do the same trait, but because of your father's dilution of it, it takes longer or shorter or something. We all have that. So if you are doing polymorphism, or in order to do polymorphism, there must be inheritance so that you can do method overriding. If there is no inheritance, there is no need for method what? Overriding. So all of them are linked together and they play off each other.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, thank you all for coming today. I wish you luck in your exam. As I told you, if you want us to meet next week, Saturday, in the morning, let me know during the week and we can meet. Go through the questions in which I sent you. They are very important. Go through the case studies we have done. They are very important. I recorded this class. I would make it available to you by tomorrow. Go through them. Just go through all the classes we have done. Luckily, all of our classes are recorded. So just go through them before the exam and you should be fine. Note, there are key points you should spell out. You can write it however you want, but make sure you hit your key points in which you need to talk about in writing your answers for me. And then good luck, and I wish you do well. Also, I have put your class score and things and then given it to the school. So they should be telling you what they are. I don't know. Do you want me to mention them for you or something, or you just check when it comes?
You only have the medicine score.
Yes, I've added the class assessment score. So they'll add that one and send it to you. So you to appear there too.
Yeah, sir.
No, you all did well. No one did that badly. So it's okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The lowest was 18 over 20 or something like that. All of you did.
Wow.
So just try your best in the exam so you pass. And remember, with the school too, you need to have above 30 to pass. So try and get above 30.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. Enjoy your week.
Thank you very much.
Let me know if you need it. Bye.
Thank you, sir.